Good afternoon, sir. Dr. Ramesh, can we start, sir?
Hello.
Yeah, we can start, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my dear friends. Is my sound audible to you?
Very
Hello.
much. Very
Okay.
much.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Today, the world is observing the World Day for Safety and Health at Work, and this is the 20th year the world is observing such a day for enhancing the safety awareness. This was started in the year 2003. Prior to that, from 1996 onwards, this was observed as a commemoration day for those who have died and got injured during industrial work by trade unions. Later on, this was changed in 2003 to the World Day of Safety and Health at Work. And this is the 20th year. And the theme for this year, developed by the International Labour Organization, is safe and healthy working environment is a fundamental principle and right at work. So, the subject what our faculty is going to talk about, Wing Commander Rakesh Kumar, whatever he is talking about is well matching with the importance of the day. Because safe at work means this cannot be 100% carried out by the occupier alone. Each and every worker has to have a safe practice in their work. If they follow unsafe practices in their work culture, surely accident may come. And also, the importance of the day is to promote the prevention of occupational accidents and diseases globally. Health and safety is an essential part of any business operation. It is not only important for reducing risk, but also for protecting employee well-being, both physically and mentally while at work. So with this, I invite our faculty Wing Commander Sri Rakesh Kumar Prashar. He is an internationally certified corporate trainer, over 2 decades of experience in Indian Air Force. He is ISO 45001 certified lead auditor with over 2 decades corporate experience in the safety domain. He has conducted over 2,000 safety training programs in India and abroad. Very huge number. So we can understand how he had interacted with a lot of people globally. And his flagship training program includes behavior-based safety and safety motivation, road safety and fire safety. And I wish to just pass on one important message to Wing Commander. June 22nd is observed as Behavior-Based Safety Day in National Safety Council Kerala chapter. As you talk about behavior-based safety globally, I would like to pass on this information. From 2020 onwards, National Safety Council Kerala chapter is observing Behavior-Based Safety Day every year. And this year also we are planning to observe on June 22nd, 2023. And he has conducted over 500 soft skills training program for corporates, educational institutions, colleges and non-governmental organizations. And the flagship program include leadership and teamwork and positive attitude and motivation. And he has conducted over 100 safety and soft skills online safety training sessions during the COVID pandemic. He had 122 videos to his credit, all with respect to, I think it is all with respect to safety and motivation. I think he has to his credit. And he has released his first book, Rise and Shine, co-authored with 9 other authors, was launched in December 2020. And his first independent written book on safety titled Organic Safety, Awakening the Safety Mind, was released on 21st December 2022. And with respect to the awards, he has received Safety Professional Excellence Award at the World Environment Summit 2020 and the Best Trainer Award in 2013, and received Silver Trophy for the Best Corporate Safety Performance from Gujarat Safety Council. That is also one of the chapter of the National Safety Council in 2010 and 2011. Awarded commendation by the Chief of Air Staff in 1919. And he is not limited to safety alone. He is a sports commentator on radio and TV. And today he will be sharing building a successful attitude towards safety. That is the topic that he will be sharing with us. So my dear safety professionals who are with us today, I invite you all to join this session, and I think to take something, whatever you are getting, some takeaways will be there from his class, because I was also discussing with Mr. Rakesh that I had met him somewhere in the cons. I could not recollect it exactly. We had met somewhere because his profile also shows he has attended lot of conference, given lot of training. So that is the thing. I invite Sri Rakesh to take over the platform and start his presentation. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramesh, for your kind words. Number one, before anything else, I must thank you and Mr. Nandakumar for having invited me over for conducting this webinar. I treat this as a great privilege. Can I take a few seconds to share my screen, please?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Just 1 second, please. Nikki? ब्राउज जल्दी यार नहीं हो रहा है ये नहीं हो रहा है बेटा वो शेयर नहीं हो रहा है Okay, there was some small technical hitch. Is my screen visible to all, please?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay, this is good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Okay, friends, a very good afternoon to everybody who is joined in. It's a very special day today. And I would want to start by saying, while we celebrate our National Safety Day on 4th March every year, the World Day for Safety and Health at Work is observed every year on 28th of April to promote workplace safety and health worldwide. Now, Mr. Ramesh has spelled out in detail about the history of this, but I would like to add a little more beyond this and also say that any fatality at work is absolutely unacceptable. Now, this day provides us an opportunity to highlight the importance of preventing fatalities and injuries in the workplace and to promote safe, healthy, and sustainable work environment. Various awareness functions, campaigns, events, seminars are conducted on this day worldwide. And I understand that today, the National Safety Council Kerala chapter also had conducted quite a few functions on this occasion. The basic aim of all these is not only to raise awareness about the importance of workplace health and safety and share information and best practices on how to prevent accidents and illnesses at work, but also to provide an opportunity to reflect on the progress that has been made in promoting workplace safety and health, and to identify areas where more work needs to be done. Now, our webinar today is also in line with the same purpose, with the title Building a Successful Attitude Towards Safety. Now, while most people know this, most people are not aware of the real objectives and the history of this particular day. So let me take a few minutes just to start. I would want to start with a quote by the ex-ILO Director General, Mr. Guy Ryder. Now, Mr. Guy Ryder, who just recently had handed over the baton of the Director General to the new Director General, he had said last year, almost 3 million workers die each year from occupational accidents and work-related diseases. This is an unacceptable and avoidable human cost. We can and must reduce and eliminate such deaths, injuries, and diseases from work. Unquote. Friends, this translates to a loss of life of over 7,500 workers each day on account of work-related accidents and illnesses worldwide. Not only this, as per the ILO figures, many times this number of workers suffer non-fatal work-related injuries and illnesses each year. Now, this is enough to tell us the importance of this day. But why was this day chosen is a very important part. Now, let me tell you, friends, here that the Occupational Health and Safety Act became effective on the 28th of April 1971, after which the Occupational Safety and Health Administration was formed. Hence, this date was chosen. Well, that is not all. As Mr. Ramesh just now informed, that 28th April is also celebrated as the International Commemoration Day for the Dead and Injured Workers, to honor the thousands of people killed and injured on the job every year. And this day is also celebrated as, is called as the Workers' Memorial Day. So the World Day for Safety and Health at Work is therefore a day to remember the dead and fight for the living. It is not just a day to celebrate and to make programs for the improvement, but also to pay homage to those who have laid down their lives in the workplace. Friends, although 20th April is used as the focal point for remembrance and a day of international solidarity for the workers' safety in the workplace, it is very, very important that these activities should not be restricted only to this particular day, but should continue throughout the year, and every day should be the World Safety Day. Only then will we be able to reduce the number of deaths on account of the unwanted, unfortunate, unnecessary, undesired, and avoidable accidents in the workplace. Let us not forget that these are deaths that could have, I should say, that not only could have and should have been avoided, but must also be prevented in the future if we have to make this day count. Here, I would like to inform everyone that in June 2022, the International Labour Conference decided to include a safe and healthy working environment in the ILO's framework of fundamental principles and rights at work, as Mr. Ramesh just pointed out. In line with this decision, this year's theme was decided as a safe and healthy working environment is a fundamental principle and right to work. So this is enough. This is so much so for the World Day for Safety and Health at Work. Now, let us dive deep into the topic for today, which is successful attitude towards safety. Friends, as Mr. Ramesh also just now said, my YouTube channel, which is titled Organic Safety, and my book, which is also titled Organic Safety, are both aimed at changing the attitude of people towards safety in an attempt to fulfill my mission of making India safe. So I take it as a privilege to be amongst all of you to talk about this topic, which is very, very close to my heart. Well, friends, in the safety domain, all of us have been brought up on a staple picture of the iceberg. And I'm sure each one of you must be sure about this example. But I have a different take on this particular example. The portion of the iceberg that is visible is just the tip of the iceberg, which in terms of human performance, I term as the skill, and the portion of the iceberg which is below the waterline and not visible to us is the base of the iceberg, which in terms of human performance is our attitude. Thus, skills is something which is visible to the world, and attitude is something which is not visible to the world. Now, these two words, skills and attitude, are the two dimensions of excellence in human beings. While the tip, what we talk of, the skills, the tip of the iceberg, is just only about 10 to 15% of the entire iceberg. The base is around 85 to 90% of the iceberg. This, in fact, skills of an individual are what is visible to the world, while the attitude remains unseen to the world. Now, as per this example, skills amount to only 10 to 15%, while the attitude amounts to over 85 to 90% of the human performance. Here, friends, I would like to attract your attention to a statement, a research document, which was produced by the Carnegie Institute of Technology sometimes in the year 1918, more than 100 years ago. In this research that was documented and the results which were produced, it said that 85% of your financial success is due to your personality and ability to communicate, negotiate, and lead. Shockingly, only 15% is due to the technical knowledge. Now, here, friends, we need to understand that personality and ability to communicate, negotiate, and lead are the soft skills, which means soft skills account for 85% of our success in our life. Whereas the technical knowledge is something what is known as the hard skills or the domain expertise that we have, and that accounts for only 15% of our success. It is actually really very, very shocking. Most people do not believe it, but this was actually proven once again a couple of decades ago when Stanford University did a research on this very document, this very paper, and this very the result. And they found that this, even till today, stands valid. Well, friends, when you talk in terms of the skills and attitude, skills, as we all know, is something, are those proficiencies which are developed through training or experience, whereas attitude is something which is a way of thinking, feeling, belief, or opinion towards something else. Now, when we talk in terms of skills, these are our hard skills. And when we talk in terms of attitude, these are our soft skills. Skills actually means how good we are at something, and attitude basically defines how determined we are to do that. Now, skills, therefore, are just the tools, whereas the attitude is the key to our success. Most people think skills is what is the most important part of our human performance, but they forget that attitude is the key to success. The amount of time, strength, energy, money, resources, efforts that we put in to developing our skills throughout our life is unimaginable. Whereas the effort, time, money, resources that we put into developing our attitude is absolutely negligible. So this is probably an area where a lot of improvement is required to be done. When we talk in terms of human performance, this skills is what is called as skills becomes behavior in terms of human psychology. In the safety field also, these two words, behavior and attitude, have become prominent, very, very prominent. Now, as Mr. Ramesh also said, 22nd June is celebrated as the the BBS Day. Now, this just basically means that behavior is a very important part of the individual's safety performance. Behavioral actually means the way in which a person behaves whether it is an action or inaction, in response to a particular stimuli. Whereas attitude, as I said earlier, was a way of thinking, feeling, belief, or opinion towards something. Now, when we talk in terms of behavior-based safety, this is a concept which came into being sometimes in the late 1980s. The efforts that went into the BBS have actually not produced the amount of results that were anticipated from this particular belief. Why? Because the number of deaths has in no case started showing a decline. At the end of the century last year, that is in 1999, the ILO had said that almost 5,500 people lose their lives every day in work-related accidents and injuries worldwide every day, whereas in the end of the last decade, the number had actually gone up to a figure of 7,500 per day. This in spite of the fact that we have much more technically qualified people, well-trained people, good technical advancements, and products with us to help us improve our safety. But yet, the number of accidents and the number of fatalities has been gradually increasing. This is where I realized that there was a disconnect somewhere in this particular domain. And that is where I realized that we are targeting behavior and not the attitude of the people. And the book which I wrote, which you just now mentioned, Mr. Ramesh, was actually about changing the attitude of people towards safety. And I called it organic safety, awakening the safety mind. Now, when we talk in terms of behavior, now if you try and relate that to safety, now in terms of road safety, an example which I give very often is we are all familiar with the traffic intersection. We know that there's a red light, amber light, and a green light. Red light stands for stop, amber light stands for look, and green light stands for go. When the light turns red, we all stop. When the light turns green, we move. But when the light turns yellow, we are actually supposed to look around and then move. But what do we do when the light turns yellow or amber? We actually do not look, but we go faster. This is our attitude. This is where I believe that it is not the behavior that has to change. It is the attitude that has to change. Something which, as I just said, which is a part of our intrinsic system. So skills and attitude are like the two wings of a bird. Now, without skills and attitude, a bird cannot fly. Like, for example, a bird with one wing can definitely survive, but it cannot fly. It requires two wings to fly. Human beings likewise require both skills and attitude if they have to fly. If they have to survive, one of the two is good enough. With skills, you can just survive. There are untold examples you see every day. People who repair your cars, people who are working on your carpenters and all that. All these are skilled people, but do not have an attitude that is required for flying. If we have to fly, if we have to become successful in life, we have to have both these wings, that is of skills and attitude. Friends, it is with a little bit of a surprise that when I just said that over 7,500 people die every day in the workplace, which translates to over one life being lost every 12 seconds. This is not a figure which has been given by me, but a figure given by the ILO. Why is it so? Here we need to understand this is basically because of our attitude. Attitude plays a very important role. Talking in terms of our own attitude and attitude of the other people towards safety. The attitude of people towards safety in the other countries, wherever I have been to, I have seen that their attitude is of no compromise. Many organizations in India too have started implementing this practice of no compromise, and they are seeing excellent results in safety. But generally, our attitude towards safety otherwise is an attitude of chalta hai. We are just managing safety as if it is something which is not a part of the whole system as such. We just have to get the work done. Now, an example that I realized, in Malaysia, I had seen this picture in one of the metro stations where it said, "Do not spit," and that is how clean that was. Whereas in this picture which I had taken in Chennai, where it said, "Please do not spit," was where people were actually aiming to spit. This is the attitude that I'm talking about, that we have to change. This is the chalta hai attitude. When you say safety by no compromise, it means safety by choice. But when we say chalta hai attitude, it means safety by chance. Now, the guiding principle behind safety by choice is love, genuine care, empathy for your workers, compassion for your workers, love for your job, love for your profession, love for your organization. But when we say safety by chance, the guiding principle basically is only luck. And sadly, we all depend upon our luck, and we trust our luck to carry us through. But remember, luck can take us some distance, but it cannot help us achieve success all round. Behavior is where the challenge actually is. Every individual, every human being has two sides to them. One is the good side and one is the evil side. Now, in terms of when we're talking in terms of attitude and behavior, here too we have two sides. One is the attitude and one is the behavior. When we go to a five-star hotel, our attitude, our behavior is different. When we go to a dhaba, a roadside dhaba, our behavior is completely different. When we work, our attitude is shown, like as you see in this video that is just being played. Well, friends, I don't know how many of us will appreciate that this is a situation which we all come across many a time in our working environment. Now, this is something which has to change. I remember I had once gone to a project where I was in one of the company organizations where I was working, and there was a scene which shocked me beyond my words. And luckily, one person recorded the whole thing on camera, and I wish to show that to you. A safety harness, which is considered to be a belt of life, actually the way it was being used, I termed this was a video I had uploaded on my channel. I called it the belt of death. Just look at this. This was the belt which was actually being used at site where the person was working at a height of approximately 40 meters. This is the attitude that we have towards safety. It is just a show. It is just a chalta hai attitude. We are just not concerned about the safety per se, and we believe that just by showing that we are having a safety belt, we are safe. Whereas this belt actually can become a belt of death, and can lead to multiple fatalities in our projects. This actually was an eye-opener for me, and I'm sure this would be an eye-opener for you too. So friends, safety is the concern and behavior is the challenge. Like that ostrich, we also tend to overlook the safety violations and ignore all these violations in the name of productivity. That is where the biggest problems lie. We as safety professionals, we all know that 88% of the accidents happen because of unsafe acts, 10% happen because of unsafe conditions, and only 2% are something which is termed as unavoidable. These unsafe acts and unsafe conditions total 98%. That means these are caused by actions or inactions of human beings. That means human factor is involved. And when human factor is involved, that means attitude is at play. That means if we can prevent, if we can change the attitude of our employees, we will be in a position to stop 98% of our accidents on ground. Now, all of us are also aware about the ABC theory of human behavior. This actually is a way to evaluate the human behavior to determine why people act the way they do and do the things that they do. We are aware of this fact that antecedents trigger behavior and behavior triggers the consequences. Antecedents is just a stimulus that triggers a particular action in the people. Behavior is the visible actions performed by the individual, whether it is in the form of an action or inaction, and consequences are the outcomes that occur following the behavior. So antecedents trigger the behavior, behavior triggers the consequences, and this consequences could be very bad, or if they are corrected, they can lead to a improved attitude towards the safety, which could again impact behavior positively subsequently. This is where we need to understand that if we have to change the behavior, we have to impact the attitude of the people. The behavior automatically gets impacted. Accidents don't happen. Accidents are caused. Now, this is a picture of a fatality at a working at a construction site. I think it was somewhere in Mumbai. This was a building, a multi-storied building, a high-rise building which was being constructed, and you can see the worker in the center of the picture here, lying on the ground, wherein he fell from the height and died. Now, if you see closely, this was the picture taken of the same incident a few minutes before this accident actually happened. You can see the high-rise building in the behind, which is being constructed, and the worker working on this tar crane to work on this height. And subsequently, you see a close-up of the person. You see that he is not wearing a helmet. He is not wearing a safety harness. So in this particular story also, we can realize that the antecedents was the picture wherein the person we can see working at a height without a safety harness and without a safety helmet. We are not aware whether this person was given any training or not, whether there was supervision available, or whether the person had been through a TBT before this incident happened. The behavior was that the person climbed and was working at a height without all these equipment that is required to be worn, and the consequences, we are aware that the person fell from that height and died. The same thing if we can take onto the road also, we are all of us drive vehicles, whether it is a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler. Antecedents, we try to probably show off to people, or we probably are in a hurry. The antecedents could be that the behavior could be overspeeding or trying to show stunts to the people, and the consequences could actually be as disastrous as a fatality on the road. Shockingly, I'm sure each one of you must be knowing that the number of people dying on the Indian roads has touched an abysmal figure of over 1.5 lakhs per year, which is absolutely shocking. So accidents don't happen. Accidents are caused, as I just said. And if accidents are caused, accidents can be prevented also. All that it requires is a little change in attitude and a positive attitude towards safety. Why is attitude so important? Friends, at the heart of every safety incident is a person, and behind each person is the human brain. The brain is amongst the major things responsible for focusing attention, allocating our energy, observing the hazards, and even as much as making our choices. The other things that help us make a decision or focus is our heart. But the brain is amongst the major things which are responsible for all these activities. Now, every individual holds an attitude towards safety, good or bad, positive or negative. Now, this attitude towards safety, as well as they also hold an attitude towards the organization they work for, the task that they are doing, or their bosses, or their peers, or their subordinates, and so on and so on and so on. These attitudes direct their focus and drive the behaviors that can either be helpful or hindering to their goal of remaining safe and well at work at all times. Different attitudes, they drive different behaviors when engaging with safety. In turn, these behaviors affect the level of risk which is being managed and the results for the safety of the individual. Now, let me take you through a small example. You see two people, two workers, a worker A, worker B. Now, both these workers are scheduled to work in a field on a project. They experience the same incident, but with two very different outcomes. Let us see how. Both the workers start their shift and join the toolbox talk with their team and the supervisor. All the workers are wearing the requisite PPEs. After the TBT, they get to work in the field and they are no longer being supervised by their supervisor who has been detailed for that job. Now, while on the job, worker A decides to remove his gloves because they are uncomfortable and they do not permit him to work very effortlessly. He feels that he cannot handle the tools properly wearing those gloves and that no one is watching. So he removes his gloves. But the worker B chooses to keep wearing his gloves for his own safety. He sees worker A removing his gloves and he tries to convince him to not remove the gloves but keep wearing them. But worker A is not convinced. Now, as they continue working on their work on the project site, an uncontrolled action happens, uncontrolled event happens, and both their hands are scraped badly by one girder. Worker A suffers a puncture injury on his hand, while worker B is protected because of his gloves that he's wearing. Now, worker A considers the injury as a normal part of the job and he doesn't think much of it and it does not report the same to his superiors also. But after 3 days, worker A starts to experience fever. He is taken to the hospital and diagnosed with a condition which is most probably caused on account of some infection on account of metal infestation. He requires admission to the hospital and can return to work only after 2 months, during the period wherein he loses a lot of his financial standing as well as no pay from work. Now, if you look at this attitude, let me show you what the attitudes of the workers were towards different activities. In terms of risk, the worker A, he felt nothing is likely to hurt me doing this task. It is better to get the job done quickly. Whereas the worker B thought, I can get hurt doing this job. I must not try to rush up. In terms of the policies and procedures, the worker A, his attitude was wearing gloves all the way through is a difficult task, whereas worker B felt wearing gloves for this task is mandated as per rules and it is for my own safety and I should be wearing them. As regards the attitude towards the management, the worker A felt, what's the point in raising my concerns about the gloves to the management? They don't care anyway. But the worker B, his attitude was, the management is concerned about my well-being. That is why they have provided me with the requisite PPE that they have given me. They have made so much of effort on ensuring my safety. In terms of attitude towards the colleagues, worker A had an attitude, how would they know something has happened to me? Worker B, his attitude is, they must be informed or else the same can happen to someone else also. In terms of the injury that was sustained by worker A, the worker A, his attitude was, it's normal to get hurt during this type of work, but workers B attitude was, with the precautions in place, no one should get hurt doing this type of work. As far as the reporting is concerned, worker A said, if I report, I will be blamed, so I will not report. But workers B attitude was, if I report, I will save others from getting hurt. So you can see how different the attitude of both the workers towards the same work is. Now, friends, how did these attitudes drive the behavior of the workers? Let us see. Worker A operated without wearing the required PPE. He ignored his colleagues' concerns and didn't report the injury once it occurred. But worker B, he chose to wear his gloves and take ownership of his personal safety. He believed that safety came first, that is attitude, and chose to follow the rules, that is behavior. Now, the results that have happened, that both these people have had on account of their attitudes, worker A, he had to be laid off for 2 months off work. He had to suffer pain and financial loss on account of the treatment and loss of pay. Whereas worker B, he returned home that evening without injury and continued working without any break in his career. So friends, we can see how the positive safety attitude can drive home a lot of benefits. How can attitude impact safety positively? Let us now see this. Number one, attitude can help increased awareness. A positive attitude towards safety can increase awareness of potential hazards and risks, making the individuals more likely to take precautions and avoid accidents because they are aware about what can happen. Number two, improved communication. A positive attitude can help individuals communicate more effectively about their safety concerns, making it easier to identify and address potential safety issues. Number three, improved motivation, increased motivation. A positive attitude towards safety can increase the motivation to follow safety procedures and protocols, thereby reducing the likelihood of accidents or injuries. Number four, a positive safety attitude can help improve teamwork. A positive attitude towards safety can foster teamwork and collaboration, helping the individuals work together to identify and address safety concerns collectively. Number five, it increases accountability. A positive attitude towards safety can increase a sense of personal responsibility for safety, leading individuals to take greater care to ensure their own safety as well as the safety of others. Overall, a positive attitude towards safety can help create a culture of safety where everyone works together to identify and address potential hazards, reducing the likelihood of accidents and injuries. Well, friends, it's also important to know how poor safety attitude can impact safety negatively. Safety is often seen as a bother to production. Production is the focus of most businesses. Employers may not see the benefits of safety, and workers may feel it as a load of extra work. This negative view has huge impact on business. Now, what is the impact? Number one, increased risk-taking behaviors. Individuals with poor safety attitudes may be more likely to engage in risk-taking behaviors such as ignoring safety procedures or taking shortcuts, which can increase the likelihood of accidents and injuries. Number two, it can lead to decreased awareness. Individuals with poor safety attitudes may be less aware of potential hazards and risks, making them more vulnerable to accidents and injuries, not only to themselves, but also to their colleagues who are working with them in the same workplace. Number three, reduced commitment to safety. Individuals with poor safety attitudes may be less committed to following safety procedures and protocols, which can undermine efforts to create a safe working environment of the management. Number four, decreased accountability. Individuals with poor safety attitudes may be less likely to take personal responsibility for safety, which leads to a culture where safety is not a priority. Number five, reduced teamwork. Individuals with poor safety attitudes may be less likely to work collaboratively to identify and address safety concerns, making it harder to create a culture of safety in an organization which the management wants so desperately to build. Sixth, increased costs. Friends, cutting corners, resistance to new policies, and dangerous behavior in the workplace can lead to accidents, which will lead to unplanned expenditures, something which all organizations want to reduce in the first place by ensuring safety. Sorry. Overall, poor safety attitudes can create a culture where safety is not a priority, leading to increased risk of accidents and injuries. It is important for individuals and organizations, therefore, to promote a positive safety culture where everyone is committed to following safety procedures and protocols and working together to identify and address potential hazards. It is not just the role of the management, the workers are equally responsible for ensuring safety. Friends, we talk in terms of changing the attitude towards safety, but changing our attitude is not very easy. It is not as easy as switching on or switching off of an electric switch, or just saying, I can't, to tear off that portion and say, I can now do it. No, it's not as simple as that. It's not easy to change a negative attitude to safety, and the whole process of changing the attitude from a negative attitude to a positive attitude is a long drawn, lengthy process. However, the impacts of the positive safety attitude on the positive safety culture are well worth the energy and the effort that we may put into it. Now, what are the benefits of a changed attitude towards safety? Number one, as employees may feel safe, they'll feel more valued. The workers are happy and their morale goes up. Accident rates reduce. This leads to increased productivity and improved quality. This results in increased profitability of the organization. Additionally, the attrition rates of the employees also reduces. Ultimately, the brand image of the organization goes up, making it a win-win situation for the organization as well as the workers. Win-win for everybody. So investing in safety means investing in the company's growth and investing in the individual's growth also. While changing the attitude may be difficult, it is not impossible. Now, how can we do it? Here, the most important part that we need to remember, the first and the foremost thing here is something which is generally ignored by everybody, and that is the need to understand why. Why should we be doing what we are doing? Change takes effort, and the most crucial first step to creating a positive safety attitude is to make it very clear to the employees, including the workers, why safety is so important. It is this why of the whole episode of changing the negative attitude towards safety. Unless the workers know the why, they will not change their attitudes under any circumstances. If your team members only comply with safety procedures because they feel they have to and will get in trouble if they don't, that means they don't see value in safety. That means their why is not clear. That means that why, that is, their vision is not clear as to what is expected out of them. So making your safety vision absolutely clear to all and regularly reminding them of the same helps them to change their attitude from a negative attitude towards a positive safety attitude. The more emotional you make safety, the more effective will be your safety. Now, there are these three words that are often used: what, why, and how. People generally believe, I have seen in the most of the places wherever I have visited, everybody knows, they say, I know what is to be done, I know why it is to be done, I know how it is to be done. Don't tell me. My dear friends, let us not forget, if you know your why are you doing something, your what also will become absolutely clear, and how also will become very clear. If your why is not clear, howsoever clear you may be about what you have to do and how you have to do, the cobwebs will still remain. So we need to understand that why is the center of the circle. It is the bullseye. It is the crux of the matter. Unless the why is clear, all other things become superfluous. The focus generally in the organizations is about focusing on how and what and not on things which are otherwise required. Now, what are some steps to improve the safety attitude amongst the personnel? Friends, improving safety attitude in the workplace can be a complex process that requires a multifaceted approach and not just a single approach like most people think it is just training and education. No, training and education is just one step towards changing the attitude of people towards safety. Providing regular training and education to all personnel on safety procedures and protocols, as well as the importance of maintaining a positive safety attitude, is extremely important. This can help increase awareness of potential hazards and risks and will promote a culture of health and safety. But this alone is not enough. What is required is the people, the workers, the employees have to be coached, not instructed. Coaching will help create a sense of involvement rather than a sense of enforcement. The moment that effect of policing comes in, people get a negative attitude towards that particular action. So, adopting an encouraging and friendly tone and a healthy body language with continued focus on safety and its benefits will ultimately promote willing participation in safety of all the employees. That is what we want, as that will help us change and improve our safety culture. Number 3, communication. At the heart of the whole thing lies communication, whether it is training, whether it is coaching, or even whether it is just addressing the people routinely or talking to the people during the site visits. Communication plays a very important role. Always maintain a open two-way communication with all your employees about safety concerns. They should be able to speak to you openly, and their concerns should come out in the open to you. Ensure that all the employees are aware also about the importance of reporting safety incidents, reporting of near misses. All this can help identify potential safety issues and allow for prompt corrective action. Now, actively including the employees in risk assessments, discussions involving safety in the workplace, etc., will give them a sense of involvement and a feeling that yes, I'm part of the system, and they will not feel as if the roles are being thrust on them or are being enforced on them. Incidentally, communication does not only mean talking. Communication also means listening. When I said two-way communication, it means speaking and listening. Speak with the employees about the work and the pressures they face, and understand the problems that the workers are facing. If the managers and supervisors and the superiors act on the signals that they receive from the employees, it will go a long way in impacting their safety attitude positively. Number 4, lead by example. When the senior management participates in safety training, when they visit the sites wearing appropriate PPE, when they participate in safety activities, it demonstrates that safety is important to them also, and they give it a lot of importance. This sets a positive tone for safety for other people to follow. Number 5, incentives and recognition. A system that rewards employees for safe behavior encourages them to maintain a positive safety attitude. Recognize the workers for displaying positive safety behaviors. You don't have to give them gifts or awards every time. Even a pat on the back once in a while or a public compliment goes a long way and will make employees feel good about their efforts that they are putting in to make safety real safety for us. This positive feeling will help in the safety attitude of the people and the safety culture of the organization. Number 6, very important, address unsafe behavior. Ignoring safety violations encourages further breaking of rules, both by the people who have broken the rule as well as the people who are witness to the rules being broken and no action being taken against the people who have broken the rules. So it is very important to address unsafe behavior. Do not let any safety violation go unaddressed. Number 7, continuous improvement. Regularly review and evaluate the safety procedures and protocols to ensure they are up to date and effective and meaningful. Ensure personnel to provide, encourage the personnel to provide feedback and suggestions for improvement, and make changes as necessary as and when required to promote a safer work environment. Number 8, very important, show management commitment. Commitment from management is very important in turning around the negative attitude. When I said leading by example, management commitment to safety is a direct example of leading by example. Managers should be seen on the shop floor frequently, displaying clearly by their own examples as to how safety is a clear focus for them, how safety is important for them in the workplace also. Not only this, providing adequate resources for safety in terms of manpower, machines, method statements, funds, resources, etc., also demonstrates the management's commitment to health and safety. And lastly, friends, something which I have experimented during my tenure when I worked in organizations: send out strong messages. Getting people to share their workplace accident experiences can be extremely effective in transforming the view amongst the employees that an accident won't happen to me. Most people believe I am safe, nothing will happen to me. But for those people who have already gone through an accident, those people sharing their experiences, motivating those people to share their experiences with others, that yes, I felt so, but I have gone through an accident and this is what has happened to me, can send out a very strong message to those people who may be thinking in terms of making shortcuts sometimes in the future. As I said, I had used this example in one of the companies wherein an employee who was an engineer, engineer at a very lower level, was working at a project. He was involved in an accident, a very bad accident, and was lucky to survive. Thereafter, we motivated him. He was educated. He had the aptitude to be a good safety person. So we motivated him to change over to the safety domain. He was trained and motivated to join the safety team after he returned after his long absence from work. Wherever he went, he talked to the employees by his personal example. His personal example sent out a strong, powerful message to those people, as it demonstrated the personal and physical impacts of the accident that this person had gone through. So encourage people to talk about their accident so that the other people get a strong message of what is required. This has a long lasting effect on those who are listening to such things. So by implementing these few steps, organizations can promote a culture of safety and improve safety attitudes amongst personnel, ultimately reducing the likelihood of accidents and injuries in the workplace, and thus making your workplace a happy and a safe workplace. Friends, let me close with the 3 E's for success in safety. We all are aware of the traditional 3 E's, which are engineering, education, and enforcement. But if you actually want to impact the attitude of the employees down to the grassroots level workers, apart from these 3 E's, engineering, education, and enforcement, you will have to use 3 additional E's, and those 3 additional E's are enthusiasm, example, and empathy. I have always believed that safety is nothing else but a transfer of enthusiasm. If you are enthusiastic about safety, your workers or your subordinates will automatically be enthused to working safely. Set an example and be compassionate in nature. Have an empathetic attitude towards the workers, their problems, and try and resolve them as much as possible. These 3 E's, enthusiasm, example, and empathy, cannot be used in isolation. They have to be used in conjunction with the 3 traditional E's, which are engineering, education, and enforcement. Now, friends, why just live an ordinary life when you can live an extraordinary one? The difference between an ordinary and extraordinary person is just that little extra that the person puts into changing his attitude. Just that little extra effort to change our attitude and help others change their attitude can help us and our organizations achieve unbelievable success. With that, I close, my dear friends. Thank you very much. Before closing, I would want to inform everybody, as I said in the beginning, my YouTube channel, Organic Safety, and my book, Organic Safety, both of them are basic purpose of these is to change the attitude of people towards safety. I would request you, if you can subscribe to my channel and keep getting your regular doses of motivation. Thank you very much. All the very best. God bless.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr.
Thank you
Ramesh.
very much. We command Rakesh Kumar, sir. And this is an excellent presentation. Basically, safety now is a safety professional. Mostly
Sir, it is not audible.
I'm not audible.
I'm not able to hear you, Mr. Salim.
Celine, you are not audible. Maybe you can switch off your video and talk.
Right. Am I audible now?
But it is also not audible, sir. Not clear.
Your voice is a little distorted.
Mr. Salim, I'm not able to hear you at all. Can somebody else take over if the problem persists?
Yeah, meantime, when Celine gets over his problem. Thank you very much, Wing Commander Rakesh Kumar Prashar. Very, very motivating talk on how attitude makes all the difference. I think we will take few questions as Celine
Yes.
solves this issue. Say people, floor is open. You can unmute and either post your doubts or you can put it in your chat box.
Is it audible now?
Yeah, very much. Yeah, please take over, Celine.
Right. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. It was an excellent presentation by Mr. Wing Commander Rakesh Kumar Prakash, sir. And basically the safety professionals, no? We mostly focused on the, as you rightly mentioned, the skill part. The soft skills part, most of the people are very much are not focusing upon. Before going to the question answer sessions, I will like to touch upon what are the things, broadly, what are the things you touch upon on this 1 hour presentation. Sir is mentioned about the attitude and skills, and the positive attitude and the negative attitude of the safety. Sir is mentioned about, and the changing attitude, how to change the negative attitude, that is mostly dwell upon. And that thing you mostly touch upon the why principle. The why principle, basically, as I heard that Simon Sinek is already done this research on this why. Whenever we are doing something, why is the key factor to do something. So once you identify the why factor, then automatically everything is fall in line. So that is sir is mostly focusing upon. And yes, mentioned about what are the steps to improve the negative safety attitude. There are 8 points he has covered. That is the training and education, coaching. I like the way the coach mode is not to instruct mode. So that is a good thing. I like that one. And the communication and the leading by examples and incentives and recognition, awards address the unsafe behaviors, continuous improvement, show the management commitment, and the create strong message. The create strong messages he thrust upon more. And these are the topics he has come across. I just want to clarify one more thing, sir.
Yes.
This is regarding, we have mentioned about the attitude part. The behavior is basically from the attitude of an individual. is it any method? Because is it any method to evaluate the attitude of an individual?
Actually, attitude is not visible to anybody. Behavior is something which is visible, and only something which is visible can be measured. So, since attitude is not visible, it is intrinsic. It cannot be measured. It can only be just gauged by the other people around. That's all. It cannot be measured. There is no way of measuring the attitude as such.
That's why the behavior is going to measure. The observable behavior is going to measure how the safety culture of an organization.
Yes, we will measure the behavior, and if you are able to impact the attitude, the behavior automatically gets impacted. And as I said, attitude constantly impacts the behavior.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. Any questions from the participants?
I have just one question, very inquisitive question. I see you are so much passionate about driving safety. All your talks, all your book, everything is focused on safety. So I just trying to look at how do you, what is a overwhelming reason why you took over this as your mission of life?
Actually, I have. There was one instance, which had happened in one of the organizations where I was working. I was the corporate safety head of the power systems division in AVP. So there, an accident had happened, and I had the opportunity of visiting the victim's family at their place. And what I saw, I have mentioned in great detail in my book also about that episode. Now, that episode had such a great impact on my mind. I mean, if I start talking about it, I'll take at least maybe half an hour to talk about it. So it may not be possible now. But that one incident actually made me realize that when an accident takes place, when one person loses his life, it is not just one man who dies. Hundreds of relations die with it. One father may lose his son, a mother will lose a son, a brother will lose a brother, a sister will lose a brother, a wife will lose a husband, children will lose their father. There are so many relations which die, not just one relation. But in terms of our organizations, it is just one number only. Sadly, it is just one number. A man who was living, who was eating, drinking, breathing, and working for us suddenly becomes just one number for us on our records. So that one incident which happened changed me completely, and I took this as a mission thereafter that I must make sure that I should reduce, if whatever I can do to help reduce the number of accidents and save lives.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good turning point of a retired armed officer into a safety professional.
Yeah, that's why I call myself a savior turned safety professional. Soldier turned savior.
Right. Any questions from the participant side? I think there is no.
We can move to the formal vote of thanks then.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, before going to the vote of thanks, normally the safety professionals we should have. But this is my this one. We should have a certain level of competencies regarding the behavioral science part. Sir is more focusing upon the behavior. Safety is basically the behavioral science of an organization or the individual. So apart from the skill level, most of the safety professionals should focus on this behavioral science part. Then only we can able to develop the culture of an organization. That is what I understand. So thank you very much, sir, for your valuable time. I propose my vote of thanks on behalf of National Safety Council Kerala chapter and on behalf of all the participants present here. And also this, we have a, under the safety HSE Forum. HSE Forum is organizing this kind of short webinars under National Safety Council Kerala chapter. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me over. It was a pleasure talking to all of you. Thank you very much.
And also the all the safety committee, HSE Forum is also organizing this, and all the safety committee members, safety chapter members, and all the participants. Thank you very much for your valuable time, and thank you very much.
I will look forward to being with you once again on 22nd of June this year then.
Sure.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.